A truly unique, beautiful, and eclectic musical experience awaits you this December 16th, 17th, and 18th as part of the Virginia Arts Festival. VOCES8, a rare and rarefied British vocal ensemble, will be performing at Christ and St. Luke's Church in Norfolk on the 16th, at Williamsburg's St. Bede Catholic Church on December 17th, and on December 18th at Richmond's River Road Church. I recently got to speak with their wonderful musical director and countertenor, Barnaby Smith.
Okay, so I see 8 singers and hear 8 glorious singers. What is the vocal breakdown, the vocal parts? Or is there a lot of skipping around, or is everyone kind of like a dedicated soprano? How does that work for you all?
Well, there is quite a lot of skipping around, but we do sort of identify in inverted commas as 2 sopranos, 2 altos, 2 tenors, and 2 basses. But in reality, I'm a countertenor singing alto, whereas my colleague Katie is a mezzo-soprano. And then on the bass part, we have 1 bass baritone and 1 baritone. We do mix and match. So it's often in a concert, Katie and I will sing all 4 parts. I actually probably have the deepest bass notes in the group. So when there's a really low note to sing, sometimes I'm like, we move around quite a lot, but I think we are all sort of registered on one of the choral vocal parts.
Speaking with conductor and countertenor Barnaby Smith, music director of VOCES8, who will be performing December 16th, 17th, and 18th as part of the Virginia Arts Festival. You can learn about purchasing tickets at vafest.org.
The singers with VOCES8, the career path of a singer for VOCES8, is that very much a choral emphasis career path, or do the singers tend to have solo careers as well?
Well, one of the interesting things about VOCES8 is it's basically 1 singer per part. So, singers, as I'm sure you know, come in all shapes and sizes. I think what we're looking for in a good singer in VOCES8 is someone who might, if they weren't singing in the group, be working at a very high level with choral music, but then also possibly working in solo singing in some way, perhaps Baroque music. So I always audition people with Bach, because I think Bach's music can really offer great musicians an opportunity to shine. And it also allows voices of the sort of size and type that we're after to really flourish. It's a sort of hybrid thing. And people who've been in the group sometimes come to us from a solo career where they're, maybe singing in choirs and doing step out solos or working in Baroque opera. And then they come and join the group, or they are in the group. We have a bass. One of our founding basses, actually, he's got a name you'll never forget. He's called Dingle Yandel. And he's sung with us for 11 years and is now a very well-to-do opera singer. He's playing leading roles in the major houses in Europe. So it can also be a very good place to develop your singing, especially through your 20s and early 30s. And then, great opera singers with the bigger voices, they tend to be a little bit older. So then you can often graduate out of the group into that sort of career. So it's a little bit of a mixture of both. But I think one of the things that you need to have to be in VOCES8 is probably an individually unique and wonderful instrument. And that, of course, naturally lends itself to solo singing as well.
Now, you said you started the group with your brother. How did you begin the group? Where did this come from?
Well, there was no plan, I'll tell you that straight out the gate. And if there had been, we wouldn't have called it VOCES8. We'd have probably come up with a name that everybody could say. We sort of fell into it. Originally, the 8 members of the group who we started out with, we were all in a youth choir together called the Millennium Youth Choir, which is part of the Royal School of Church Music over here in the UK. And we outgrew that group as we were sort of college age. And myself and my brother just started inviting our friends from that over to our parents' house, essentially for a sleepover. We used to do sort of weekends where we'd sing a concert on the Sunday. So we'd all arrive on Friday night and have a jolly good time. We'd rehearse on Saturday, and then we'd sing a concert for charity on Sunday at one of the local churches or cathedrals. And somehow, I still don't know how, an organisation got hold of our name and invited us to the International Choral Grand Prix that was happening in Italy that summer. And essentially they were offering us a holiday to Italy. It was all costs covered. And all we had to do was sing 5 concerts around the Venice area and then take part in this competition. And we took 20 singers because that was the size of our choir. And one of the categories was jazz and pop music. And so we just did that with 8 people because we were singing music by groups like the King Singers and the Swingle Singers, who were all one-to-a-part groups. So we did it one-to-a-part, and we ended up winning the competition. And my brother and I are not short of some entrepreneurial spirit, and people started offering us concerts, and they weren't massively well paid, but we worked out quite quickly that it was possible to keep the overheads for 8 singers to, a relatively manageable size. And so we started taking these gigs and the whole thing just flourished. And at the time, my brother was also working for the Irish Chamber Orchestra as their director of development. So he was becoming heavily involved in music education, in the delivery of music education. And so had a real interest in that. And we decided to set up our own musical foundation as well. And to this day, the whole thing continues to flourish both in the world of community music and music education, as well as in the performing arts and the concerts that we give.
Now, you work with an arranger and a composer in residence. Are the arrangements that you do in concert, are they always custom made for you all?
I would say 99% of the time, yes. In the concerts that we're doing in America, I think we have, maybe 6 or 7 custom made arrangements that will appear through the second half. So yeah, we're very lucky that people write specifically for our voices. It means as well that when you come to a VOCES8 concert, of course, you're hearing music that is a well-trodden path, these chants and Western core music that we sing, but you're also hearing something that's truly bespoke and unique to the group as well.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you'll be performing here in Virginia in December? About your program?
Yeah, lots of great Christmas music. We're sort of tracing the Advent story a little bit in the first half, starting with some Pilgrim's chants, which is very exciting to sing. And actually, we're closing the first half with one of the great architectural monuments of Renaissance choral music, a wonderful setting of the Magnificat text, which is the text that Mary sang when she found she was going to give birth to the Christ child. And it's set here by Hieronymus Pretorius, who uses a special scale that's reserved especially for Christmas Day. And as if that wasn't enough, he also incorporates 2 carols into the Magnificat. So it's this huge piece of polychorals. There's he takes the choir of 8 and he separates it into 2 choirs of 4. And it's about 10 or 12 minutes long when you put the whole sequence together. It's just one of the iconic monuments of Renaissance choral music. So we're presenting that. And then in the second half, we get a little bit more to the sort of folky poppy end of Christmas. So some of the lovely European folk melodies and then into some of the jazz and pop. So hopefully something for everybody.
Many thanks to Barnaby Smith, countertenor extraordinaire and music director of the magnificent VOCES8. They will be performing December 16th, 17th, and 18th as part of the Virginia Arts Festival. The 16th in Norfolk, the 17th in Williamsburg, and the 18th in Richmond. You can learn about tickets at vafest.org.